at least 20 megawatt. Your minimum amount of turbines should be 26 in order to get this amortization period of minimum 4 years. So the next sub-industries would be solar, biomass and coal. Here we just see now something like a short overview. Mining will be focused for the next couple of decades, that's clear, and the main source, it will be the main source of power. And here you also have the highest investments. That's also the reason why we said, okay, this industry is not as attractive probably as the others. So probably it is, but you have to invest much more money. And something very interesting we found during our research was the guaranteed selling price for 12 years if you produce power. And here we see the solar power plants. So also in private sector, if you could generate power, you get 23 euro cent per kilowatt hour. So this is really interesting, and it should also be an incentive also for the private sector to invest in that. So the conclusion is that we put all these industries something like in bars and say, okay, which do we calculate as a high attractive industry, where would we say it is moderate and a low attractiveness. Again, it is our opinion, it was our opinion and of the group and after the analysis. So we have some industries concerning and sub-industries. In the automotive industry we have automotive engines and parts we have seen. The bus manufacturing, car manufacturing is a little bit difficult. Here Fiat is very investing very much money, but only Fiat. So the other ones are investing in different things. Concerning the energy industry, we also say, okay, biomass energy is rather hard. Why? Because here the government, of course, has the most shares concerning forestry you need for biomass energy. Lignite, brown coal, and solar energy, we said, okay, it's moderate because concerning solar energy, it's too expensive for the private sector, but probably there is a possibility in the wind energy to make bigger investments. Pharmaceutical industry, we divided in finishing of pharmaceutical products, just finishing them, and let's say distribution of these products. And concerning the pharmaceutical production, we said, okay, when you only focus on the production, is not as attractive as finishing it, because then after finishing these products, you can sell them to Europe, you can sell them to Turkey, you can sell them to Russia. So you can use the free trade areas and free trade associations. And finance industry, we said, okay, granting of credits and granting of loans is attractive, and we have a lot of banks. We heard today that more than 80% of the share belongs to foreign investors and foreign banks. But new market entries, we said it's rather hard. Why? Because there are big players and they have a lot of market share, and we think they will not, or they don't want to share their market share with others. So these are our findings. We have also put all our research and the sources in the papers. So we have 30 pages among that. This is just a little bit like an overview to have a feeling and to can discuss further issues. Thank you very much.
Zelko, thank you very much for your presentation. I think we go on with the other presentations. Maybe they will add to each other, and we make the questions at the end of the panel. So the next speaker is Bojan Jankovic. He is the Deputy Director of the Serbian Investment and Export Promotion Agency. As he told me, he studied in France, and what he studied and what else he's doing, he will tell us in his short introduction. Thank you.
really tell us how many, in which sectors, and so on. And we have qualified human resources, but why? What qualification is that? And we have some free trade areas, and the question was, okay, are these free trade areas really different to others? So we have some negative, let's say, not so positive answers during the interviews concerning telecommunication, because, for example, that it's only few market share is available in these industries, and we had some kind of 12 or 13 interviews with experts, and now we try to find some figures concerning these results. Now, from the Serbian Foreign Investor Council, we get a list with, let's say, most of the Austrian investors in Serbia, and this list was rather unstructured. So, first step was to structure it and to get a little bit clear view out of it. And this was one of our findings, that you can see now where are these Austrian investors investing in. And we see that the building industry, the infrastructure industry, and engineering and materials, this is, let's say, one of the clusters in Serbia concerning Austrian investors. But we have from chemical and pharmaceutical to bank and assurers, of course, a lot of companies. We will see. Now, some economic incentives. Why are these firms investing there? We have some figures just to get an overview. We have in Serbia a corporate income tax rate of 10%, and in Austria, for example, 25%. And there is also, by law, granted if you invest more than 7 million euros, you are free of this corporate income tax rate for 7 years. So this is also an incentive of Serbia. We have some total labor costs, 2009, which are rather low. Only in Bulgaria we have 2.1 euro per hour. In Austria, 2008, we had 27 euros approximately. So this shows us one point. Okay, the labor costs are low, and on the other hand, we do have qualified people. This is from Gallup International, a survey conducted 2004, and we say, okay, the young people, 42% of the young people can speak English, and it can be used also by the foreign investors, of course. So this has background. Serbia has focused during the last decade from France, German language, and from Spanish and so on to English language education. So the education changed by law, and English was one of the winners, let's say. And yes, we have also some governmental aid concerning different industries. We have, for example, you can see that if you invest, if your minimum investment, let's say in the automotive, electronic, or the IT industry, is more than 200 million euros, and you create 1,000 jobs, then approximately you get 10% back of your investment. So approximately through production, service, research and development, you get 10% of your investment back. Now, to the free trade areas, just to give one of the most interesting incentive is that beside the GUS countries, Serbia has a free trade access to Russia, and this is of course interesting because Russia has 142 million inhabitants, and with Turkey there is a free trade association from this year now. So there is, for us, we saw that we have a lot of incentives and we have a lot of positive things, but the question was why it is so unknown. And there was a survey also from Ernst & Young, Southeast Europe. They tried to measure it. They tried to structure these different countries. You can see here Serbia, Cyprus, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Croatia, Romania, and there is a difference. You see on the one side the real attractiveness. It's calculated by the number of inward FDI projects, so foreign direct investment in 2007, and on the other side, perceived attractiveness from 216 international executives. And Serbia is based on the outsider with a poor image, but with strong results. So this is rather interesting. It was rather interesting for us also to see that. Now let's go to the automotive industry, and we think that this is one of the most interesting industries because it's not as easy to say, okay, just produce cars and buses, but the automotive industry is also divided into several sub-industries, of course. And we have here ATB from Austria, for example. Through privatization, they invested more than 19 million euros in Serbia. So we also have two niche markets we recognized through our analysis. One niche market was the bus manufacturing. So as you can see here, we have an increasing trend concerning the bus manufacturing industry, and we also have, if you see here, FAP, Ikerbus, Neobus. They are all producing trucks and buses, and during these years and these months there are some from Netherlands, some from Italy and Slovenia who want to invest there, and at the end we will create, or there should be created more than 700 new jobs, which of course is one of the most important things in Serbia. Now the second niche market, we would say, is the engines and the automotive components. So here we can recognize that concerning these two figures, we have something like clusters, something like the wood cluster in Salzburg. We have clusters in Serbia concerning foreign direct investors in Serbia. And interesting enough is to mention that Serbia is in the center of, not in the center of Europe, but in the center of CEE, and within 24 hours you can deliver parts, engine parts, motor parts, and so on. Now we switch to the energy industry, just to give an overview among the energy industry. Water, we have small hydroelectric power plants, and we divide into big hydroelectric power plants. A small hydroelectric power plant can be called if the megawatt output is approximately 2 megawatts. So the investment amount is also approximately 1.43 million euros. And big hydroelectric power plants, we see here that Germany and Austria is one of, or are the biggest investors in Serbia. And we see that we have, concerning the small hydroelectric power plants, something special to say, because here we have more than 850 locations which are unutilized. So the government has already analyzed Serbia, the landscape, and they came up with 856 locations where it is possible to build some small hydro power plants. And now let's just look quickly through the financial efficiency of these small hydro power plants. Don't have to calculate it, but its amortization period is something like in 4 years. So you invest in and you get your investment back in 4 years. So this is rather interesting. And the next industry would be the wine industry. We see now here that we're increasing. We are getting better in Serbia concerning wine, development of wine capacity. And also here we have from Austria, one of the biggest FDIs from Austria, Energowind. But I have to say at this point that of course Energowind its shares are not 100% probably Austria, but Austria is one of the major shareholder of Energowind. And we also have Velbury Wind Energy, and you see that there are big investments in this sector and in this industry. Now the suggestion from the government is that your minimum output, if you invest here, should be